After over 700 workouts and years on my fitness journey, I have tested and trialed so many different types of volume training, whether that be super lightweight with high amounts of volume or super heavyweight with low amounts of volume. I have tried it all because I wanted to answer the question of what type of volume training would be the best for muscle growth. Because let's be real, right? You do not build a physique that most men literally dream of and fail at just 18 years of age, that most teenagers would literally die for. You do not build a physique that good by not caring about your volume. Gotta take a deep breath after those curls, bro. But you do not build a great physique like this by not caring about your volume. And I've tried so many different types of volume training, and it took me years and years to figure out this new tactic that I'm gonna teach you today. Because you can talk about high volume or low volume, but I'm here to bring you a new volume tactic that has maximized my muscle growth as an intermediate lifter and can do the exact same for you as a beginner or even advanced lifter, bro. I can't wait to teach you this advice because it's been years in the making. So, without further ado, let me sit you down and we'll do just that.
For as long as I can remember, I remember always questioning my own workout routines. Am I doing this exercise right? Is this exercise even worth being in my routine? Is this routine even good enough? Is this the right split? And am I doing enough in a week? Am I doing the right amount of volume? All these different questions would run through my mind, and it was honestly a terrible feeling. It was difficult enough to actually go to the gym in the first place. It was so difficult to actually get myself there and be consistent when you don't want to, when you have all these intrusive thoughts, when you'd much rather be, I don't know, playing video games, whatever teenagers do. You'd much rather be out with your friends and stuff like that. And I took the plunge, I took the hit, and I stayed consistent on my fitness journey. And then on top of that difficult decision already, I was then questioning whether it was even worth it, whether I was even doing it correctly. And that is another hurdle that not many people cross. That's why I think so many people are so inconsistent, because they can do the hard part, they can get there, but they're not secure in whether that will get them the results or not. And they think to themselves, why am I sacrificing so much of my life when I'd rather do X or Y or Z when I don't even know if this shit is going to work? And that's all the feelings that I had, and I'm so lucky that I had the resilience to stay committed and almost believe in the results. And obviously I did my own trials and testings. I tried so many different routines until I found one that worked for me. But I just want to teach you the volume tactics that work for me, so you don't have to question yourself about your training anymore, just like I used to all the time. So now you can have full belief in what you're training and what you're doing is correct, and that you can actually believe in yourself and achieve the results you want with full confidence. So first we need to go into what different types of volume training there is. I've tried them all, and I'm going to tell you there's two main ones, and it's low versus high volume. Right, you see me in the intro, you see me one with a super lightweight and a heavier weight in my other hand. So a high volume is particularly with the lighter weight, like I had in my left hand. And what that basically means is you'll do more sets per muscle group per week, a working set. So you'll do more exercises, more reps per muscle group. So like for chest, back, shoulders, every single week. We're measuring it every single week, because if you do a high volume day, but you go twice a week, and then someone does a low volume day, but goes 6 times a week, you're actually getting similar amounts of volume in the week anyway. So we're going to measure it across a week, not per session, because you can't determine how much volume you get per session, because it depends on how many times that you go a week. So we're going to measure this across a week, right? So high volume is 12 to 20 sets per muscle group per week. And just for so you can visualize it in your mind, what that looks like is on a Monday, let's say you're hitting chest on a Monday, a Thursday and a Saturday, you will do 2 sets of bench press, 3 sets of incline, and 1 set of flies. And that comes out to 6 sets on that day. You'll do the same Thursday, so now you're at 12 sets. So on Thursday you do 2 sets of bench, 3 sets of incline, 1 set of flies. And then on the Saturday, you will then do 2 sets of incline and 2 sets of flies. And that's 16 sets of chest per week. And it's a lot. High volume is a lot, right? And that's the cost that comes with high volume. It's very fatiguing on the central nervous system. And we're going to talk about why that won't help you make as much gains as the new tactic that I've been using in the future. And then low volume in comparison is something like 6 to 10 sets. So we talked about high volume being 12 to 20 sets per muscle group per week. Low volume is almost pretty much half of that. It's 6 to 10 sets per muscle group per week. So you're cutting your volume in half, like that. So what that looks like, again, in the routine is, as you're doing chest on literally just a Monday and a Thursday, it looks like 2 sets of bench, 2 sets of incline, 1 set of flies, and then on Thursday you do the same thing. 2 sets of bench press, 2 sets of incline, 1 set of flies, and that's as max as you can do. And you see how your body is able to recover from this better because it's less of a workload. And we'll talk about the benefits of that in the future. So, which one should you do? Should you do low volume or should you do high volume? Or should you do something else? You know, because they're only the 2 main ones. There is new tactics available. Like it's a bloody video game, bro. But low volume, I would suggest, in general, is so much better. There was a study that came out that was suggesting that high volume is king, and that's the main driver for muscle growth. And so many people talked about it at the time, as you would rightly do, because that was the most advanced knowledge out a few years ago. However, recently, studies from the same people and that were recommending high volume, and all these YouTubers like Jeff Nippard, etc., have been saying that this study was only measured with one muscle group. So it was like they measured the hypertrophy of the quad in the study using high volume, but they didn't train any of the muscle. They didn't train the hamstrings, they didn't train the calves, they didn't train the upper body at all. It was just the quads, and that's why they got such a benefit of growth, because it was just their muscles that were being trained. So you could afford to do high volume. But when then you extrapolate that and apply that to your own training, and you're training every single muscle group with high volume, you see how that gets really fatiguing for your central nervous system. I tried high volume at the start of my lifting journey, and I was super tired all of the time. All of the time I'd be yawning halfway through my workout. I'd be so much more likely to skip exercises at the end. I know you've done this as well, like you've been like so exhausted with the workout routine, and then the last thing you want to do is do forearm curls. It's so fucking boring. And especially if you're super fatigued on top of that, you're just not going to do it. You're just going to have too much friction. You're not going to want to do it. You're going to be tired. You'd much rather just get back into your warm car or get home and get your parents to pick you up as soon as possible, and then you can go eat food again, because you'd be so knackered by the end of it, right? I was yawning through my workouts. I was literally like, you know when you're like heavy blink, like you're trying to fall asleep, like keep yourself awake? Like I was doing that during my workouts. Like I could not put as much intensity into my sets and therefore get less growth from my workouts because it was so fatiguing on my central nervous system, because I didn't know that they did this study with literally just one muscle group, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll do it for my entire body. That's why I recommend low volume. When you have less sets, 1 or 2 sets per muscle group per week, and you train to failure on every single one of them, that is in general better, because you've got less volume, you have more energy to not only put more intensity into your sets and achieve true failure properly, have more mechanical tension and more growth, but also your central nervous system is allowed to recover because there's less workload that it's going under. It can actually recover from the previous session a couple of days ago, from the leg day that still hurts. It can recover from these things. So now when you go into your next session, you're fully rested, you're fully ready to then put the same amount of effort into the next session, rather than still being fatigued from the last one, your legs still aching, and having to do heavy squats again and not being able to do anywhere near as weight as last week because you're still absolutely fatigued. So if I had to choose one, like you have to literally gun to my head choose one, it would be low volume. So if you have to choose one in general, low volume is more sustainable, you're more consistent, you're more rested, not as fatigued, and you can put more intensity into your workouts. When you do high volume, people that do high volume are very advanced. Just a quick little thing. Most people, when they do high volume, will do a lot of sets with reps in reserve, and that's a very advanced concept. It's basically, you know how you train till failure and you can't do any more reps. So reps in reserve is like, let's say you can do 10 reps of this, let's say this curl, right? You can do 10 reps and you can't lift it anymore. Like it's getting to here and it's not moving, right? Leaving 2 reps in reserve would mean you do 8 reps and stop there. You've got 2 more reps left in reserve until you reach failure. People usually use this tactic when they do high volume so they don't fatigue themselves, but I want to keep it extremely simple for you as a beginner. Don't overwhelm yourself. Train till failure, 2 or 1 sets per muscle group, per exercise, and I want you to do around 6 to 10 sets per muscle group per week if you had to choose one. However, there is a new volume tactic that I have been using and I'm going to teach you today. This is what I recommend. It can sound a little bit complicated, like saying it to you straight away, but I guarantee you as soon as you wrap your head around it, you're going to be super excited. You know how we talked about how that high volume study only benefited like a lot of hypertrophy because they only train one muscle group at a time? Well, why don't we just use that in our own training? Why don't we train one muscle for like really, really high volume that we want to grow, that we want to build up, like they do in the studies with intermediate and advanced lifters. Both of them reap the same benefits of increased growth from high volume of one muscle group, and then just keep the rest of it low volume. You see how you get best of both worlds from that? You're getting the boosted growth from the studies that are proven by the studies from one muscle group that you want to bring up. So for me, that would be my back. And then the rest of your muscle groups, so my chest, my shoulders, my triceps, my biceps, my legs, all that sort of stuff would be low volume. So now I'm not getting overly fatigued. My central nervous system is still being able to recover because on the whole, I'm still doing the low volume protocol, but I'm using high volume for just one muscle group. You understand what I'm saying here, right? So what this would look like in a training program is, so across my week, I do 6 to 10 sets per muscle group per week for every single muscle. And then for me personally, I want to bring in my back. So then I do 12 to 20 sets for my back per week. So I just increase the volume, increase the amount of sets of my back exercises that I'm already doing, and then that just increases high volume. So for me, what my back days used to look like, I did chest and back. So I obviously do my chest workout, I do my bench press 2 sets, incline 2 sets, fly 1 set, and then I go into pull-ups for 2 sets. Then I go into some sort of either lat pull down or a like narrow grip row. So I'd either do a wide row for obviously the mid back, or the narrow grip row for the lats, depending on what type of day I was feeling, if it was a lat focused day or a mid back day. But let's just say I did 2 sets of a lat pull down, and then I'd probably end off with, that would probably be it. Honestly, maybe 1 set of rear delt flies as well to get the rear delts. Obviously it's through your shoulder, but so I do around 5 sets in an exercise, in a session, and then I do 2 sessions a week for my back. So I used to do 10 sets per muscle group for my back per week. Then I just doubled it. I'll do another exercise, I'll do 3 sets here, 2 sets there, 2 sets there, and then all of a sudden my back days now look like this. 2 sets of pull-ups, 2 sets of like a wide grip row or a lat pull down, like I said, and then I think it was another 2 sets of, I think, a normal lat pull down. Yeah, a normal lat pull down is what I do. So I do 2 sets of pull-ups, 2 sets of a wide or narrow grip row, depending on what I'm trying to focus, and 2 sets on a normal lat pull down. And then I do 2 sets of back extensions on Saturday and Sunday. So that's my lower back. So that's 4 sets of that. So that would be 2, 4, 6, 12. But I can't do maths. That'd be 16 sets for back per week now, because I've added in my back extensions and I've just doubled the amount of volume that I'm doing per session while keeping the rest of my training the same. And I can tell you that I'm not over fatigued in my workout routines. I'm not knackered at the end of doing my never skip exercises. I just do more of back. 1, I love training back anyway. 2, I'm seeing substantial growth. And 3, I'm not questioning myself about the workouts anymore. I'm finally confident in it. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to think about a muscle that you want to bring up. So it could be your back, like me, it could be your biceps, it could be your chest. It doesn't matter, it's whatever. It could be your legs, bro. Fuck it. Let's build big legs and stop being a bitch. You know, you're so used to skipping legs, you probably need to bring the legs up, right? So I want you to pick one muscle group that you want to improve on and use this volume tactic in your training. Keep the rest of your volume the same, 6 to 10 sets per muscle group per week for every other muscle. Let's say you want to bring up your quads. Then you want to do 12 to 20 sets of quads per week. And I guarantee you're going to see insane, substantial amount of growth in your quads. Now, to be able to be reminded of this all the time, you need to have a workout routine. I suggest I give you free workout routines, link in the description. It's my course will provide you not only free workout routines, but literally the best guide that I've meticulously designed over the years of mistakes in my fitness journey to be able to build a top 1% physique in your age category, right, just like me. But you can have your own workout routine. You can use an app, you can write it down. I use an app called Heavy, H-E-V-Y. That's what I use. And you want to write it down. So you want to make sure you're doing all the exercises for enough. So I did this recently. Let's see if I can find it in my book here. I did this recently where I decided what exercises I wanted to do first, obviously. And then I decided how many sets I should do for exercise to make sure that I'm achieving my goals of a certain amount of sets per week. So this is mine here. Let me see if I can show you. See if I'm on the right thing here. So I'm not sure if you can see that but I had to write it down first, and then I could put it into my app. If you just pause the video there and have it a bit of a read, I think that's the right one. Yeah. So I wrote it down first, made sure I was getting all the right amount of sets that I needed per week, and then I put it into my workout routine. So I know now every single time I do the workout routine that pops up on my app, then I'm hitting the right amount of volume. So for every muscle group, do low volume, 6 to 10 sets per muscle group per week. And then let's say you want to build your quads, do 12 to 20 sets of quads per week. And I guarantee you're going to see insane growth without the over fatigue of the high volume. And you can actually reap the benefits of the high volume from the studies that have been done over the previous years about hypertrophy. One last tip I will give you is I want you to learn to do reps in reserve. I will do a video in the future on how to actually manage reps in reserve and RER and all that sort of stuff. So when you do this high volume tactic, when you do the high volume of quads or whatever it may be, you can use this to stop being over fatigued. For now, just train every set to failure. Just do that for now, and then when I make a video in the future about reps in reserve and how to use them to manage your fatigue correctly, you can then optimize that in the future. But for now, as like a beginner lifter, just focus on training to every set to failure and just increase your volume in one exercise. And then every about 8 to 12 weeks, you want to swap that muscle group around. So in about 6 weeks now, I will not do my back anymore. I've done 6 weeks of this already. So I will then change it to my chest because I want to bring up my chest next, and then I'll probably change it to my quads or my hamstrings to build up my legs a little bit more. So every 8 to 12 weeks, you can change it so you're constantly bringing up a new muscle that you want to bring up. And that's the volume tactic that I want you to learn today. Keep it low volume as an overview. If you had to pick one and this is too complicated and you just want to start in the gym, pick low volume, 6 to 10 sets per muscle group per week. If you are going to the gym and you have a bit more ambition and you want to improve your workout routine more and you're always questioning whether you're doing enough volume, this is the perfect volume management technique ever. Do low volume for every single muscle group except one, and do high volume for one muscle group per week. And I guarantee you're going to see insane growth. I've loved training this way. I'm not too tired. I never skip exercises, none of this stuff. And I'm seeing the best growth, and I'm reaping the benefits of both volumes by combining them together to make this new volume tactic. This is super, super valuable. I feel so confident in my training. I absolutely love it, and I want you to have that same feeling as me, because you'll never want to quit when you feel super confident in your training. Hopefully this volume tip worked. My first link in the description is my product, where we teach you more like amazing lessons like this on how to transform your physique and be a top 1% physique in your age category. Most men would literally kill for this physique, and I've achieved it at 18 years of age. So imagine what you could do from learning from all my mistakes so much quicker, no matter what your starting point is. We teach you that down in the description. My second link is my personal Instagram. Give me a message on there if you think I've missed anything out from this video. You still have a really, really specific question on your fitness journey and how to improve it. My DMs are open, bro. Send me a message. You can trust me more when I reply and help you advise person, like face to face over message. And then you can take my advice more seriously, and I can change your life so much faster. So without further ado, bro, enjoy your next session, and I'll see you later.